Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Nifty Show, Wednesday, January 10th, the day that allegedly the Bitcoin ETF, the Bitcoin spot ETF, is going to be approved. What a hilarious roller coaster ride it has been to see how the SEC has operated, how the crypto media has operated during this entire Bitcoin ETF saga. We're going to dive into it. We got Kicks on the show today. Real quick, I want to let everyone know who the BoDoggo of the day is. He's got three names, so he must be pretty important. His name is Michael Joseph Chetty, also known as Chetty. He is a full-time artist who does commissioned NFT painting work, and he's recently been picking up a few BoDoggos. So after tweeting his latest BoDoggo yesterday, which is a badass BoDoggo with a backwards cap and the Evil Knievel outfit, very, very nice, he shared this morning that he is going to change his profile picture from a Pudgy Penguin, shout out to Pudgy Penguins, to a BoDoggo. So make sure you give him a follow at MPJ Artist. That's at MPJ Artist.
We should just pin them to the top of the Twitter.
Oh, Clemente's pinning them. It's already pinned. It's pinned. So there you go. And today on the show, we are going to discuss the Bitcoin ETF fake out aftermath. We're going to talk about Ethereum showing some significant signs of life. Yuga Labs facing some more backlash, but this time it's on the gaming front. We got Kicks. What's going on, Kicks? How you doing this morning?
What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm good. Is your wife still using the new lens we sent to your house?
Yeah, 100%, dude. I'll go get that though. I mean, like she used it once and stored it away somewhere. So I'll get that. It's a twist on kind of thing, right?
I promise you'll put it on. Yeah, you just kind of twist it on. She could probably twist it on. Nick?
Kicks, also, this is a good opportunity since this is the only time that you respond to messages that you send over a picture of the box so that we can get the rebate on that lens. Okay? And Bunny, who's waiting to come on stage, also needs to do the same thing.
Yeah, no, I got followed up by the lady that works with you. I won't dox her name. And yeah, I know that's a deliverable. And yeah, I do need to work on communication. I should have replied to her and said, noted, received, working on it. I said that in my head. I didn't say that to her, but I'll type that to her right now. But also it was Christmas time. So that box, I don't know about that box, but we'll figure it out.
First of all, I didn't know that we had rebates on these things. I'd love to hear that Nick's got the rebate game going. That's some real deadly entrepreneurship right there. Make sure you get every
BoDoggo royalties down. We got to get our fucking camera rebates going. What's going on here?
Mean, like, dude, it's 50 free bucks or something like that, or $100. If you want to just Venmo me $100, we can take care of that situation.
We'll dock Kicks' pay. But no. No, we're savage entrepreneurs. We return the costumes after we shoot the videos. So when you see the costumes in the video, I return those to Amazon. Don't tell Jeff Bezos. Those get sent back immediately. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got Kicks, so we're just going to dive into this weather report. He's got a nice little coffee. Is that a cappuccino? Is that an Americano? Is that an espresso?
Cappuccino.
What is it?
Yeah, cappuccino, whole milk.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a new coffee spot, and I like they give you that true cap, sized.
Yeah, not big. Yeah, and with real milk, no fake milk. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, no, I'm not on that oat milk, soy, start jiggling around. You drink too much of that.
Dude, we got pretentious Pio out here talking about the coffee. Dude, Clemente needs to be talking about his Dunkin' Donuts habit, basically, because that's the right way to eat or to drink coffee.
Well, now Clemente can be pretentious about eating real Cuban and Dominican food down in Miami, which I can't hold a candle to that over here. I'm sure that it would be possible, but I do not know the best spots for Cuban and Dominican food in New York, although I'm sure they are undeniable. Clemente?
I spent $10 on a coffee yesterday, which was not ideal. I went to this new place. I'm like, hey, I'm going to try it out. I went to this spot like a block and a half away, and it was $10 for a latte. What are we doing here?
You're always getting wrecked by expensive food places. That's actually wicked funny. I also got tuned up to the tune of $8 or $9 on a coffee twice in the past 6 months in New York. I mean, now people are noticing inflation.
I'm going to give you like a food truck. It's going to be like a $3 cortadita. You're going to drink this thing. Your skin's going to feel like it's melting, but you'll accomplish more in an hour than you have in the last month, just purely off the caffeine that it's got in this thing.
Dude, I'm down.
I like it. I like the idea of drugging Clemente. Kicks.
Yeah, because the math is straight off. A $10 coffee, you can get an Adderall illegally on the streets for $20 probably. So like the ratio is, not right. It needs to be $3 coffee, $20 illegal Adderall. That's a 7-to-1. Once it's 2-to-1, you're going to see some real spaz out people in America. So we need to fix that.
Everyone's going to be on Adderall.
It's unhealthy. It's not good for you. Yeah.
Kicks, let's cook with this weather report a little bit. What do you say?
Oh, man, I'd love to. Just hit my little sound trigger. So I'm going to change this up one day, but not today. Today is Wednesday, January the 10th. Market volume coming in, $26 million. Blur, 19.4. OpenSea, 5.7. That's up 2x from yesterday's lows. Solana still cooking, 6.7 million. Looking at the top movers, Ethereum NFTs are down across the board, including Bored Apes down another 3% to sub 24 ETH. Node Monkeys down another 15% to 0.17 Bitcoin, while Bitcoin Frog's holding steady. And over on Solana, we got Mad Lads down 5%, but that's still 160 sold. That's about 16 G's, baby. Over the past 24 hours, it was a wild day for crypto and Bitcoin as the SEC tweeted that the Bitcoin ETF had been approved before Gary Gensler followed up with a statement that said the SEC Twitter account was compromised and the ETF was not yet approved. Exit Safety account revealed that the SEC's account was hacked through a phone number obtained through a third party and that the account did not have two-factor authentication set up. On the initial tweet, Bitcoin pumped to nearly 48 grand, but now it's been down only since. It's at 45,000 right now. Bounced up a little bit. It's all over the place, but Ethereum's liking the action. It's up 4% over the last 24 hours. All the L2s cooking, Optimism, Arbitrum, all of them, they're cooking. Over on Ordinals, the Node Monkeys co-founder Rock Toshi is under fire as various individuals have claimed that he has been harassing them, threatening to blackmail, and participating in other quote-unquote shady activities. The Node Monkeys are down 15% to 0.17 Bitcoin. Also on Ordinals, 4 Ordinal punks were swept for $426,000. The first sales that the 100 supply collection has seen in over 2 weeks. And I think they maybe had 3 total in the past 2 months. So just to come out of nowhere, drop $500,000, that's a big deal. Over on Yuga Labs, Other Side has revealed another event in their metaverse coming in February, but facing negative feedback on the lag and the poor frame rate shown in the video trailer, with people expecting more from a game 2 years in the making. Otherdeeds sitting at a 0.45 ETH floor. That's an ouchie for me. Lastly, the winner of the day is Saga Monkeys. This collection was holding a 2 Solana floor after being airdropped to Saga phone holders earlier this week, and then saw a whopping 5x to over 10 Solana after Solana co-founder Anatoly Yakovenko used one as his new profile pic on X. Unfortunately for the Sergeant of Solana, however, Nick Florida's Saga Monkey, before this happened, missing out on over $800 of profit. Man, you should have swept it with that $800. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
That was hilarious. You said Anatoly's name like he was like he was a new player on like the Russian national hockey team. That was pretty good.
There's a new show out on Netflix called The
Name
Recruit.
perfectly.
I did? Yeah. I'm watching The Recruit season 1. There's Russian mafia involved with the CIA. So I've been picking up on the, Russian vernacular, mostly Belarus, if we're being specific.
Easy. Is monkey pronounced differently than monkey?
No, it was Saga that he said differently. He
Saga?
said Saga. Yeah, Saga.
Saga.
Sorry, I hang out with a lot of SAG actors, so it kind of messed up my thing.
Nice niche joke. Anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, we got some updates from the Daily Digest, and I'm excited to dive into all this stuff with Kicks. The Digest is posted to X platform every morning, pinned up top during the show, and it's emailed to anyone that subscribes at thenifty.com, so make sure you go to thenifty.com to subscribe. First one, the Bitcoin ETF fee war continues to heat up, with Bitwise leading the charge. They are waiving fees for 6 months or the first $1 billion and then charging a 0.2% fee. So very interesting stuff. Valkyrie co-founder Stephen McClung was quoted saying, "It wouldn't surprise me if Ripple has a spot ETF before Ethereum." I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to really happen. Next story, Xcopy announces his latest Bang Bang collection, which is a 250 supply requiring a burn of the Max Payne NFT and an additional 0.2 Ethereum. The Max Payne collection has pumped 50% to 0.6 Ethereum on the news. VeeFriends has announced that the children's book Meet Me in the Middle, written by Gary Vee, will be released July 16th. So we'll see if Gary can start lighting up some book sales with the VeeFriends book. I mean, this is actually probably a pretty good play. OpenSea has announced or is introduced a self-custodied wallet that can be created with an email address. So interesting that OpenSea is pushing out new products. Imaginary One teases a bubble token coming in Q1 2024. The collection is holding a 1.2 Ethereum.
Who's Imaginary Ones? The invisible friends?
No.
Okay.
Clemente, who's Imaginary Ones?
They're the walking bubble collection. I'll pull it up in a second. But they've been doing
And that's
game.
not the Michelin one. That's a different one.
No, it's
Close,
a third
close.
bubble collection that's also moving. These guys, these little rascals.
They've actually done okay though for an extended period of time. Like I was shocked when I
No,
looked
that
at the
makes
chart.
sense. Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
great insight from everyone on the.
I didn't want to mess up
Oh,
easy talking about it.
I was gonna drop that they had a game for a while for their allow list that was like this racing Mario Kart style game that a bunch of people did play, and if you placed, I think it was like top 3,000, which wasn't like unattainable. The NFT ended up going for like half an ETH. Like it was a pretty straightforward like way for them to do it. I think these things look awful though.
Is Easy's audio slightly low for you?
Yeah, and a little delayed, so that's why I was.
Is that better?
That is actually better. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no,
What did
that makes sense. Though I saw this collection on Blur, and I was like, they're missing a token. That's like the missing piece of this collection. So good to see they're working on that.
You were scrolling Blur, specifically pointed this one out and said this project's missing a token.
Yeah.
And Pio, for your question, I just turned the mic audio up on my Roadcaster.
That's
Like
what I'm talking about. There we go. We got this gentleman, longtime listener of the show. This is what Spaces smells like. Shout out to This Is What Spaces smells like. He's been commenting on Easy's audio for the entire duration of the show. We appreciate that. We want you to point out when there are imbalances in our audio. We appreciate that. This is what Spaces smells like. Do me a favor. If you got any nicknames so I don't have to read out that like 10-syllable name, that'd be awesome. But anyway, moving on, 2 single check sales. This is Jack Butcher's checks. Were recorded in the last 24 hours, one for 25 ETH and another for 27.25 ETH in anticipation of Jack Butcher's ordinal check airdrop next month. People are gearing up for Jack Butcher's ordinals. I wonder who is going to help Jack Butcher secure some really, really good provenance, related sats on Bitcoin. We'll have to see.
They were already inscribed, Pio, back in February of last year. Someone was like, "Yo, you should do it." You did it, and yeah.
I mean, there you go. People are going to spaz over those on the Bitcoin side. Phantom CEO Brandon Millman revealed that in the last 7 days, 150,000 new Phantom installs have occurred just on Google Chrome. So this animation of the Phantom logo being just on fire is no joke. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. NVIDIA stock has reached a new all-time high of $542. Nancy Pelosi cashes on the options that she bought just 3 weeks ago. Her and her husband aped into NVIDIA call options and in the money already. Shout out to Nancy Pelosi. She makes OSF and Mando look like they don't know how to trade. Anyway, those are your stories from the Nifty Daily Digest. Subscribe at thenifty.com. It's also available on X platform. Look, we Nick's here just to talk about the Bitcoin ETF, really. I mean, obviously, Nick's always welcome here.
And Boeing stock. I'm very interested in Boeing stock and monitoring that situation right now.
You act like you don't like talking about stocks, but you do like talking about stocks.
Did I say I don't like talking about stocks?
But that you're like Boeing stock. The joke there was that it's boring to talk about Boeing stock.
Nick's monitoring the Boeing situation.
I genuinely am like, okay, what are we thinking about Boeing here? Okay.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love that.
It came off of the 260 level down to 225. I mean, maybe we see a pullback down to 177. I don't know. I want to get an understanding of where we think that this thing is going and where the buy opportunity exists here. You got doors flying off planes. That is a buy opportunity if I've ever seen one, you know? Like, what is suddenly is suddenly a Boeing upstart gonna suddenly like replace them all of a sudden? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, they're gonna resolve the problem. I'll tell you that much. Like, it's an urgent situation. They have a door problem. Okay. Doors are a very important component of the plane that's flying at 50,000 feet. You want to avoid having the door fall off. So that's like, I don't know if you've ever seen that sketch about the front of the ship falling off. This is a very similar situation here.
Look at this thing. At this thing.
Did you see an iPhone fell out of the plane and they found it still intact?
A couple of iPhones, actually.
Yeah.
I did see that one that, yeah, someone, there were,
Absolutely crazy.
it's pretty cool. It just shows how durable the.
I'm not surprised if you understand physics and like wind velocity. If it landed on anything other than concrete, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I am surprised. I would have thought it would disintegrate. That's
Bro,
what
it
they,
fell 30,000 feet from the air. What the?
Yeah, but it doesn't like infinitely increase in speed. It hits max velocity,
Max
and then it
velocity.
lands in some fucking grass, dude. You ever
Sorry,
dropped
dude,
your
grass.
phone 5 feet?
Sorry, nerd.
So Apple should rebound from their last ad. Remember the Mother Nature ad that everybody was like, yo, what the hell is this ad? And everybody was like, Apple had a rare miss with this ad. They should rebound with like a high octane ad of Travis Pastrana jumping out of a plane with an iPhone. And they got like GoPros and Travis Pastrana's just like, yo, what's going on, iPhone? And literally just like watching the thing hit the ground and it's still intact. I like that. I think that that's a good marketing campaign. You can book that one, Tim Cook. I don't even need any royalties. But anyway, Nick, we got to talk about the Bitcoin ETF
Wait, so
fakeout.
we're not going to conclude whether or not this is what
Boeing's later in the fucking weather report. Okay.
is it?
No,
Well,
Nick,
it's later. You can combine it with NVIDIA 2-for-1.
Okay. Well, apparently this is against the rules.
no, I want to hear the Boeing thing. Kix is just trying to figure out how to plug in here. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I just want to know if anyone else is looking at this. Look, they got.
I want to know what Easy thinks. Easy is a very good stock.
Billion in revenue. They got 100. Their market cap being 136 billion, which is 2x revenue, which ain't great. That's also because their margins are absolutely awful, with their net income just being negative over and over and over again. That said, they have $17 billion in cash, so they can operate with a negative net income for at least a period of time. I don't know what their liabilities are $152 billion.
Massive. I wouldn't touch this thing with a 50
Holy
foot pole.
shit. They're actually insolvent.
Literally. Like literally, but they're just propped up by governments and bailouts and more.
Exactly.
Like so literally, time and time again. I wouldn't touch Boeing with a 1,000-foot pole, dude.
Wow.
So what should you buy since Boeing is propped up by the government? What
I don't
should
like
you
a
buy?
lot of like.
Yeah, a
Go ahead,
Chinese
Big Dog.
plane.
No,
Chinese
Bitcoin.
plane.
You should buy Bitcoin.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Bitcoin doesn't have the doors falling off it. All right, Nick. You just don't understand how it
No,
works.
he's laughing at the Chinese plane.
Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know what the fuck that even means, to be honest.
I don't know, dude. I'm losing my faith in American manufacturing capabilities by the second.
So I went and immediately looked up what planes JetBlue has, since I've become a fan of it. Like New York, depending on the city you live in, has a major impact on the airline that you're a fan of. Like I'll be straight up. Like Miami is an American airline city. That's like the
American in spirit.
I'm not touching Spirit. Okay, there's no way you're getting me on a Spirit plane.
I'd rather walk.
Or at least drive. That is an option in case you're wondering. Easy, there are cars and trains. But the thing I was gonna say is, like, JetBlue, none of them are Boeing. You know what they're rocking with? Airbus. So that's the option that you got there. Airbus has had its own issues.
Mostly on like innovation, but they definitely check the nuts and bolts in Europe for sure. They're good about maintenance.
They make sure.
But think about this, Nick. When's the last time you've heard of a plane crash in China?
What are you talking about?
It's a really good point.
Someone pointed out Malaysian Air, and I feel like there's a lot of airlines in China that have.
Yeah, actually, it was March 21st, 2022. Plane crash, 132 people died. So pretty recent.
Well, that's something to laugh at. I'm gonna be honest.
But it's more
I was just hoping I had a good bit here. When I Googled it, I was thinking like, they'd be like, no plane crashes since 2012. I'd be like, let's go, man. Let's buy some of these planes.
Shit
But no,
happened 6 months ago.
yeah.
So this Airbus does generate, checking out their financials and their balance sheet, they have a net income of $4 billion on $58 billion in revenue, which is pretty good. Like, at least that they have some net margin going on here. They also have, they're not insolvent. So holy shit, Airbus is based in France, right? So the French apparently, doing a one-up, against America right now.
Yeah, but they get a ton of subsidies. Airbus. It was a whole fight, Boeing versus Airbus back in the 90s, right?
Well,
Anyways.
whatever's happening, their financials look a hell of a lot better.
Well, the whole aviation industry is, in my opinion, completely fucked because the government. Well, so look, this is coming from Lynn Alden. It's not coming from me, but Lynn Alden like points out that there's basically been no substantial innovation in aviation in literally decades. Yeah, the inside of the plane is getting better. Now you have Wi-Fi. Oh, cool. Like, but we like, dude, the majority of aviation improvement literally came like Wright brothers era. Like that's what we're talking about. It used to be a big deal. Fucking what's his name? The Aviator. Leo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese movie.
The billionaire guy that he's playing.
Is it not Ford? It's was it George or Henry? No, I don't know. I'm tripping. But anyway, look at this. First flown in 1964 and retired in 1999. We haven't built a faster air-breathing manned aircraft since the Blackbird. Lynn Alden points out that there's no incentive to improve aviation.
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes. There we go.
And the Howard Hughes Corporation is the one that owns South Street Seaport, interestingly enough, down here in the FIDI area of New York. Howard Hughes Corporation still kicking.
Elon Musk said he came up with a design for a new plane that would be much better than our current planes, but he can't prioritize it because
he's working on 6 businesses and writing a bunch of tweets and taking drugs, according to the Wall Street Journal, of which the board of directors of Tesla is very concerned.
Well, honestly, I would fly a plane in Elon Musk, even if he designed it on ecstasy.
Well, there you go. He said that it's more important to stop burning fossil fuels to fuel our cars. And I was like, I can't disagree with that, than just having a plane that's like way more doper. But hopefully we'll get a better plane in the future. Anyway, look, Bitcoin or Nick.
Oh, no, sorry. We can go over to the Bitcoin ETF saga that's going on here, or saga as Kix calls it.
So the Bitcoin ETF saga has been quite interesting. And I mean, look, can you believe how this has gone down? First, we had the fake report now 2 months ago, feels like a lifetime ago, from CoinDesk or Cointelegraph, whoever that was, that reported, I don't even remember now. Was it that they reported that the ETF got approved? Is that what the report was?
Oh, the fake news, fake news that it was approved. Yeah, that was
SEC Twitter was hacked. That one?
Well, I'm talking about the one from 2 months ago that kind of kicked things off.
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then now, literally, so people have been posting that the SEC like 2 months ago are like, don't trust everything that you see on the internet. If we didn't say it, it's not true. And that's from their official Twitter. Then the next tweet is all the ETFs have been approved. And then the next tweet is Gary Gensler being like, yo, that's not true. Don't believe that. Someone I saw pointed out was like, dude, Gary, just run with it. Like, don't try to do damage control on this. You're going to approve it today. Why are you doing the whole, like, that's not an official thing? Like, just run with it.
I think he's out here trying to save face. And Twitter came out and confirmed that, or X, I should say, confirmed that indeed it was hacked. And I was out here on the conspiracy theory side thinking that an intern or some person had basically attempted to draft it, but clicked the wrong button and just tweeted
I'm still on the conspiracy theory side.
So you think that they're in cahoots with X? The problem is Elon hates the SEC. So, in fact, he would love nothing more than to be like, that SEC fucked up.
Oopsie daisy.
What happened with
that was an accident
here. No, I was just thinking more like if the NSA created Bitcoin and like the One World Order doesn't want Bitcoin to be legal just yet, could like the CIA or the FBI have like coordinated a hack on this phone to do this, to delay the Bitcoin ETF, maybe to, buy it at 35K, load up some more.
It is interesting that it happened yesterday. I wonder if the hack had already occurred though previously. And then the person, like, there's a lot.
You can hack the SEC's phone. This is your best play. That's your best play to make money right there. Come on.
The Bitcoin.
There's a million and one better ways. The better way would have said it's rejected. The short would have been printed way more than the approval. Or you could have done a million other things. It just seems weird to me. It seems off. It seems like the fertilizer explosion in Beirut in 2016. Same kind of thing. Doesn't make sense.
The whole thing is wild. On the Bitcoin show yesterday, people were talking about.
How did that come to mind? That was like top of mind. You've been really stewing on the
I saw a
fertilizer.
video of it again the other day, and I'm like, that's just not a bunch of fertilizer blowing up in a warehouse. I'm sorry.
On the Bitcoin show yesterday, there was, things were pointed out, like some concern about the amount of Bitcoin that is about to be held by centralized institutions, which is something that's interesting. I mean, look, it's against the Bitcoin ethos. However, when Dan Held was on the Bitcoin show, who is like the OG of OGs from Bitcoin, on Bitcoin, I should say, he pointed out this is just what winning looks like and what winning feels like. First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then they join you. And at this point, I mean, they're joining, right? And at the end of the day, this is basically the kind of evolution of Bitcoin and the kind of broader crypto market. People that are saying that it's going to normalize the price action on crypto, I just don't know if I buy that. Maybe in like 8 years or something like that, but it ain't going to be something that, changes anytime soon. Easy. So your position has been that it is priced in and that you think that there's going to be a sell-off. Is that correct? Or
Yeah,
what's your
short-term.
Okay, a short-term sell-off.
sell-off.
Do you still
I don't know if we still get it now. I think we really just saw the hand as to what happened with that fake out. We saw it gigapump, and then people went to the SEC website, saw that it wasn't on there, and we're like, oh shit, okay, this isn't legit. Then it sold off really hard, kept selling off, but oddly enough, ETH rallied, of all things. ETH got a 2.5% upwards candle on it, and that to me was really interesting, because now I'm like, okay, does this mean that it's just going to set up for this whole ETH ETF narrative that's going to happen right after it?
Spoiler alert, it is. I mean, dude, it's when there's an ETH ETF, that's a huge deal too. It's a huge, this whole ETH is dead thing is hilarious.
Well, ETH is ultrasound money.
No, it's not. But
Why did Solana drop 10% essentially?
Because
It's not
XRP is going to be the
ultrasound.
third ETF.
What's that?
XRP is going to be the third ETF if you haven't been seeing the rumors.
That's
Have you been
a
seeing
joke,
those
right?
tweets? No, these people keep saying that XRP will get an ETF. It was like the narrative yesterday was that the third ETF will be XRP. And honestly, I was impressed. I was like, wow, these people love the narrative about XRP. They love it. They absolutely love it.
And so people are selling Solana because of that?
Well, it's just the alt play. Right now, it's there was speculation that you'd get an altcoin ETF, much like what we see with who was that fund that just dropped Matic and added AVAX?
Grayscale.
Grayscales, yeah. So that's what a lot of people are basing
Grayscales.
Grayscales.
Grayscales, baby.
Dragon of
yes.
the North.
That's pretty funny. Anyway, sorry. Old grayscales over there. All right, easy. Please continue.
But that's just the mentality right now is people are speculating on what the next one's going to be. I think that Sol selling off here is totally fine. I think you're going to see Bitcoin dominance really play that main narrative, and alts are going to bleed for a little bit, which I'm kind of happy about because I can buy more because the same kind of cycle happens. Bitcoin dominance really runs, ETH gets some legs, and then it shifts back to alts. So for me, I'd prefer an altcoin sell-off on a massive Bitcoin dominance candle.
And real quick, Nick, to quote Michael Saylor, who I know you absolutely love me to, have quotes from, everything besides Bitcoin, so Solana would fall into that category, is more speculative and thus has higher highs, lower lows, and a bunch of fireworks in between. So who knows what Solana is going to do between now and mid 2025, but I bet it'll outperform Bitcoin. And this is coming from a huge Bitcoin guy, right? So I do bet that it's going to outperform Bitcoin. I kind of only have Bitcoin and Solana right now, which is kind of wild. I have a little bit of Doge, but I turned some of the Doge into Solana, which I know. And I got an assload of pudgy penguins, so there's always that. There's always that.
My
and the Mad Lab.
NFT portfolio is just slowly bleeding away here. I feel like it's just it's tough, man. It's tough being Nick,
Really tough.
Well, on a positive note, my terrible Copium buy, the team has responded and said that they're open to me doing a double or nothing bet with them. So either I can end up with 60 Copiums or 0. So I'm excited for that.
Sorry, what does that even mean?
They tweeted that they're launching a casino. So I said, can I put all 30 of my Copiums up on a double or nothing game and I'll stream it? And they said, yes. Let's figure this out. So it looks like your boy's either going to have 60 Copiums and only be down 20 Sol, or
Wait, what do you mean?
I
I
have
thought you were
0.
down 20 Sol.
No, I'm down 60 Sol.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's not a small amount. No, it's quite substantial.
I mean, like looking at this, I'm not like super surprised, but you know, hey, you got to take swings every once in a while. You got to keep those feet chopping, right?
The fact that you're buying this, like, so I've changed so much from last NFT cycle, and in my head, I was like, we've all kind of grown. The fact that Easy just bought a bunch of these is hilarious to me. Like, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna buy these.
Kind of reminds me of my crypto hobos buy when I bought like 20 of those.
You PFP'd that.
This is a tough time.
Okay, well, anyway, look, there are a lot of fireworks here. I mean, we're expecting an approval today on the ETF. I don't think that that's like an outrageous thing to say, which is crazy. And then I just can't wait for live trading on the thing. Like, what the hell is that going to mean?
4:15 p.m. announcement. 4:15 p.m.
The rumor is that they're expecting $2 trillion in inflows over the next year, which I think makes sense. You can do the math on what that would do to the market cap of Bitcoin. Kicks, you're making a face like that. Look at what that would do to the price. It's not that much. I mean, the market cap's almost $1 trillion right now.
2 trillion?
Yeah, baby.
That's not like going to double the market cap. That'd like 10x the market cap in a year.
No, not 10x.
Well, yeah, it doesn't inflows doesn't like make it go up in tandem, right? Because it's not like 100% of the supplies out there, right? It would create a supply squeeze, wouldn't it?
That's the idea.
Anyway,
we'll have to see how.
Let's go, baby.
Wait, sorry, we're saying 2 trillion is coming in.
I'm not saying that's what like people on the Bitcoin show were saying yesterday that are smarter than me. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, that would be what?
Well, right now, that what's actually reported is that there's $3 billion of inflows coming from BlackRock's ETF specifically, and to switch that to being the jump from that to 2 trillion is quite significant. I think what that estimate was based on was trying to compare it to activity on the gold ETFs historically. And that's kind of the basis that I saw some chart essentially of gold before and after the ETFs had been introduced. And that's kind of the overall thesis there. But I don't think maybe it was $2 trillion of inflows to gold. Maybe that is what the case is. If it's $2 trillion, that has a massive impact on the price here, given the fact that Bitcoin is below $1 trillion at this point in time. I mean, the expectation that we set is it should be around at least the market cap of gold, which is 12 or 13 trillion dollars.
Like 14T, but you can also, in my opinion, I think you roll silver into that too.
Potentially. I don't know that I'm not as big of a buyer of that. Maybe platinum, I have no idea. But let's just stick with gold for now. The entire crypto market cap is 1.7 trillion, with Bitcoin being over 50% of it.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I think that there's no doubt in my mind that the entire market gets at least 7x here. Eventually, I don't know over what time horizon that is. I don't know if it's like 5 years or whatever it is, but even still, 5x, you're outperforming the stock market just definitively. So why have any stocks? Kicks, how much do you have in stocks?
Dwindling by the day.
Are you moving it over to crypto?
No. Just selling it.
I just read this comment about but gold and silver are useful.
You're right, man.
Yeah, you can use it to make necklaces.
No, dude, when you talk to the gold bugs, they're just like, you have to use it to, it's the strongest metal, blah, blah. It's like, dude, like
I've been building a lot of houses with gold.
Yeah, dude.
It's over.
2022 made me realize that I'm not a good stock trader. I don't have an edge there. So I can just put my 401k in the S&P 500, and I'm a lot better at crypto.
I thought there were some good trades there. That's when I was tweeting at you in 2021. That was
2021 was good. 2022, I like negative 70%.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it wasn't
but
a great year.
You're trying to trade though, right?
Yeah, dude. I think I like longed a bunch of growth tech at, like January 2022, which is like the worst trade you could have possibly made. Like,
Tough one. You should have just copy traded Nancy Pelosi. Well, look,
for me, frankly, because my portfolio performance has just been absolutely staggering.
Crushing it. On the Ethereum front, I want to have a serious conversation about Ethereum for a moment. I don't have any exposure to the Ethereum token right now. I do have 20 plus Ethereum worth of NFTs in the form of pudgy penguins. I think that Ethereum is going to have a substantial run up in price. Do I think it'll outperform Solana or AVAX? No. Do I think that it'll outperform Bitcoin? Maybe, but I don't know. This might be a cycle where Bitcoin outperforms. But then again, if the ETH ETF is the next thing, the next big thing that happens this year or early next year after the Bitcoin ETF gets approved, then who knows? It is the number 2 crypto market cap, number 2 crypto by market cap. That's a huge, huge deal. It also has a significant amount of name recognition. Donald Trump, it was reported, owns a bunch of Ethereum. So there is like, you know, the kind of old money contingent that has some sort of exposure to this. Crypto people will post gas fees and this, that, and the other thing about Ethereum and talk about how much better Solana is. But like the old money people that are buying the ETF are not going to be trading NFTs with this. I think that it's a foregone conclusion that Ethereum sees a run up. The question is, does it outperform the other assets that I talked about, like Bitcoin, like ETH, like Bitcoin, like Sol, like AVAX, like say, if we're going to talk about say, like Near protocol, if we're going to talk about Near, what do we think? Easy. What's your position on it?
I'm kind of just buying alts right now. Like that's my main thesis is like I want Bitcoin dominance to rally. I'm out on Filecoin though. I did some due diligence. I did some digging, some looking. I'm totally out on Filecoin. I'm like completely out on Filecoin.
Should I go sell it?
Well,
I want no part of Filecoin.
Literally
dude.
nobody told you to buy Filecoin, Nick.
Dude, I wanted to join
They have a little bit.
Fuckheads.
Here's like a good barometer test. If you can find one person in the world that has actually used Filecoin, like not bought the coin, but actually used their product,
Holy shit, I'm down bad.
you're good, bro. A little early.
So
early
Kicks,
in
a
the
lot
year,
of people
tax
have
loss
though.
harvest.
A lot. IPFS is Filecoin.
I don't believe you.
It is.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to
Well,
believe
yeah,
me.
it's a good buy then. I'd hold it.
That.
Damn, I got screwed over by the Filecoin fuckers, dude. These guys just screwing me over.
Well, I think if you probably bought any alt at the time that you bought that alt, Nick, you're probably down a similar percentage.
Oh my god, I went from 2,500 to 1,855.
Tough one. It's not that bad. It probably will come back. Kicks, what's your position on Ethereum versus some of these other assets like Solana and AVAX?
Yeah, I'm still holding my Ethereum from the buys last year. I'm not once again, like I'm not expecting it to move crazy. It's like it's like a Bitcoin. It's not gonna, like when everyone like yesterday was like Bitcoin's at 47,000. It's like, dude, that was up like 10% in like a month. You know what I mean? With a bunch of other things like 4x, meaning that like ETH is gonna move like that. I think if you're trying to get a higher beta play on ETH, you should just buy the L2s. Like you could buy Optimism or you could buy Arbitrum. I think that those things probably capture more value in this cycle, but I'm happy to hold on to my ETH. I'm not like switching and not liking ETH anymore. I still think ETH's great.
Quick question here on this Bitcoin ETF situation. Do we think like Gary's like, yo, what's up with the fact that we got hacked around this one particular thing? If it really legitimately was hacked, which a lot of us are still questioning, but and maybe this was how Elon got into the good graces of the SEC by helping support the narrative, a counter narrative, so that he wouldn't be investigated for other violations. You see, maybe this is actually maybe Elon's playing 3D chess and all of us are just being stupid about it. But do you think this is actually going to end up delaying the approval of it as a result of this hack, basically?
Wow.
Like, what other scenario has happened where like they're in the process of like approving a stock and suddenly they're like, the stock has been approved for trading? And like, it's such a weird thing that like it pushes the narrative of criminal association with crypto.
It's wild. I want to dig into this. Bunny, you have your hand raised. Is there something for you to weigh in on this?
Honestly, Nick threw me off by accusing Elon and the SEC of being in cahoots. So, I mean, dude, Twitter confirmed that it's a hack. Do you really think like Elon's considered pretty anti-establishment, I feel like. So one of the tinfoil hats has to come off for
Mostly
this
anti-establishment, except when the government was giving him massive contributions to support subsidies to support his electric car company. So it's a little bit of back.
No,
and
I
forth.
agree with that. I'm
The
saying
fact
like
that
public
NASA is
perception
one of
of
his
it.
largest clients, by the way. So Elon doesn't hate the government, by the way.
Well, no, Elon is out for Elon.
Yeah.
And I've been following him for a long time. Elon puts Elon number one and all of his businesses number one. So if you're going to grease the wheels for the old boy, he's going to rock with you. He does deals.
And
Didn't they specifically just say that the account was logged into from a new device? That's all they said, right?
yeah, which to me could have been like, Johnny Nobody, like the intern's Twitter account. Like,
You guys are overlooking this entire situation.
what are we
entirely.
overlooking here?
Nancy Pelosi is at the core of this. She got the phone. She tweeted the ETF approval. Was giga long and then giga short. She doesn't miss. It's pretty clear. The X safety thing was actually hilarious to me if you like read into this tweet, because it was just like, yeah, they just had 2FA with a text message approval on it. And like, this is a government agency that's just using casual 2FA. Like, and not even like an authenticator app, just a cell phone number. Like it is.
That's not that surprising though, Easy. If you have a Bank of America account, if you have a, a Chase account, you can't use any sort of 2FA besides email or text. Like they're used to this.
So they got SIM swapped, basically, is what is being claimed here. And the fact that Twitter understands that that's a consistent situation that causes people to be hacked is a whole other story. They're like, yeah, they just didn't have the 2FA. It just, I don't know. I'm still a little bit of, I'm quite skeptical here. And to Pio's point, Elon's in it for Elon, and Elon's trying to, do a little bit of a deal. He doesn't give a shit about crypto, not crypto, whatever it is. He just wants Elon's net worth to go up so that he can have more money than Jeff Bezos.
Well, the money side, but also the prestige. Like, so Mirzda has a sick quote right here. Elon wants to save the world, but only if he is the one who can save it. That's like the perfect summary. And he said from the last book, I want to know which book that is, which book about
the Walter, whatever his name.
There you go. One more thing right here is S. Higgins or Shiggins 03 said, if this was a real hack, there would 100% be more dicks posted. Got to think that that's on the table. Got to think that's on the table.
Nuts on the table is definitely a potential situation there. So, yeah, I agree.
There you go. Bunny, any follow-up on this?
Yeah, I just think it's weird for Easy to be surprised that, like, they don't have tight security on their Twitter account. Edward Snowden had a good reply. I think it was to Ansem. The nuclear codes for 20 years were 0000000. Right? So, like, I don't know. I don't think it's too surprising that Twitter wasn't secure.
I think that's actually a good, because I would have guessed it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I wouldn't have been able to get into the nuclear
Edward Snowden responded to Ansem? Damn, that's a cool response.
Yeah.
And then Ansem immediately tweeted after, I wonder if Snowden owns Solana. The very next tweet was like, I wonder if he owns any Solana. I was like, damn.
That's pretty crazy. Wow. Ansem's doing quite well on Twitter. There you go. Look, we're going to switch gears here. We'll have to see whether the ETF gets approved today or not. It would be wild if all of a sudden at the last moment, because of this little hack, they use that to delay the ETF. That would be crazy. I mean, look, if you expect the craziest outcome, that would be one of them. Real quick, Otherdeed or Other Side, the latest teaser. You saw our boy Spencer have a comment there saying, don't post a trailer that has lag in it. That was a little shot right there at the developers of that game. Hicks, you're a gaming guy. You run a gaming company. What do you make of this trailer, and what'd you think of it?
I mean, it's not really showing much, that's cool. I mean, yeah, it's just like a quick little pan thing. I mean, yeah, I guess there's like some lag and stuff like that, but I mean, that could also be some sort of like compression issue, right? Like it could have looked great in the meeting the day before, and then whoever's job was to export it and uploaded it to Twitter, I don't think it necessarily means the game is that laggy, right? Like there can be a difference between the game being that laggy and how they captured and rendered it. I mean, I don't think it looks phenomenal, but I mean, I also think that their team is probably dealing with some like infrastructure issues on the other side, right? Because they stopped working with Improbable. So like if you worked with like a company for a year to build up your metaverse and then you stop working with them, you know, there's it's going to be hard to make that kind of transition. What was everyone's expectations though? I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be a metaverse where apes can run around and play, right? So it looks like that's what they were trying to showcase. I think they were probably trying to showcase like, hey, there's 200 apes and one server or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm underwater in my other deeds. Certainly that trailer ain't going to change it. You know, I'm definitely not buying more other deeds after the trailer, but I think people are really like, you know, I don't know, sensitive in this space. You know what I mean? Like one,
Yes.
like a little preview saying like apes coming home, you know, it's not like that was like a feature film trailer. So I think people, you know, kind of overreact in the space a little bit. Like, you know, why don't we see what happens at the event and then we can formulate our opinion. If the event itself is underwhelming, you know, maybe that can carry a little bit more weight than the trailer. But yeah, I mean, and also it's trendy right now to hate on Yuga Labs, right? That's like the consensus, you know, trend right now is to dunk on them. So
Yeah, in general, I think the NFT space operates like high school, like freshman or sophomore year high school. And so people, you know, see a trailer, and if it's not immediately like an ooh and ah thing, even if they put forth a good effort, it's kind of like, you know, if you didn't score the touchdown in marvelous fashion, they can't really pick up on the fact that you're playing well in the game, right? And
yeah.
so, yeah,
if it was a TV commercial, right, like or a Super Bowl commercial, yeah, definitely dunk on it and be like, wow, that was like a really bad ad, right? But it's a Twitter post saying like, hey, there's an event coming up. There's another Deeds event coming up. So, you know, it's not, I don't really care.
Easy. What was your take on the trailer?
It looked like shit. Like, just to be brutally honest, looked like it was ran on an N64. Yeah,
GoldenEye.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I thought GoldenEye was probably a better representation of it. All in all, though, it's still in beta. It's only for one day. It's a play test. It's fine. I think it's cool that they have the 10,000 different 3D rigged apes. There has been 2 playtests prior. Bunny came in second place and got absolutely nothing for it. So that also made me pretty happy. Showed that he spent a lot of time, energy, and effort to be the first loser. So that was great. I'm more curious to see like what else they do here personally. Like, what is this playtest going to be like? What is the experience that they're getting? What is the I hope we get a little bit more information on longer term rollout stuff with it, because the idea is cool, but of course there are concerns because building these types of things take a lot of time, energy, effort, and resources. So that's kind of the bigger thing here is like, could continue to get extremely expensive trying to build something out for this. And then of course you have the entire battle of like, how do we get people to actually want to play in this metaverse when you have competitors like Roblox, Fortnite Creative, Minecraft, and so many more games that are like, you spend $5 to play and people have fun with it versus buying an ape to get into this game.
Bunny, you have your hand raised. Any response?
Okay, well, you wouldn't have to buy an ape to get into the game, right? You would have to buy a deed, technically.
And how much is a deed?
What?
1,000.
I don't know, but if you think Roblox or Minecraft costs or Fortnite costs the average consumer $5, like you're out of your mind. The in-game purchasing is like worse than just buying a game for $60, right? Like that's why they pivoted to that model. But with the other side, like I think it's cool that we finally got all the apes rigged, right? And they say the apes are coming home, so I'm guessing it's going to be the first time we like navigate through the swamp and like the clubhouse in the metaverse, which is going to be the center of the other side. And if you are a maxi on it, like that's going to be a relatively important like piece of the game.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see the next thing that comes out. Kicks.
Yeah, I just think like the bigger thing with Yuga Labs right now, like the bigger conversation is that it just feels like there's not a clear direction and there's a lot of different things happening and it's hard to like just see one direction happening, right? Because like they're trying to do the other deeds, then they're trying to do Legends of the Mara and whatever other mini games they're trying to do, and they're trying to do stuff for Bored Ape, and then they have the Ape DAO that's like a gaming DAO but not a gaming DAO. Like personally, if I was over there, I would think like, you know, this is the time where you kind of you shed the 90%, right? And you like focus on the 10 or 20%, and have just like a clear elevator pitch direction. Like this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to accomplish in the next 2 years. Like that's just like me personally. You know what I mean? It's just like there's so many different things going on. It's hard for me, even as a gamer, to like understand like where hey, is that my Bored Ape right there?
It actually is right there at the floor. Someone's trying to dump it.
Miss you, guy. Hope you're doing well.
24 Ethereum. You've had several Bored Apes. You've had probably 13, 14, 15 total Bored Apes cycle through your wallets. Look, we'll have to see what happens with the premier NFT business, Yuga Labs. Would love to have Daniel Allegre on the show sometime. Maybe we can get in touch with him. I think he follows most of us, but that would be very cool to talk to the new CEO who comes from the legacy video game industry. Definitely a heavy hitter from that industry. Would be cool to have him on the show. Moving on. Look, Bitcoin Ordinals, a lot of attention on Ordinals right now. One thing that I found interesting is I feel like a lot of the participants on Ordinals, because they may be Bitcoin maximalists, paid essentially no attention to the Ethereum NFT ecosystem during the development of it in late 2020, all of 2021, and then early 2022, because I sort of am seeing like almost like a Groundhog Day style repeat of the entire ETH cycle just happening on Ordinals and everybody there acting like it's brand new. And so it's been very interesting to see the Node Monkeys development, the Bitcoin Frogs development. Now, obviously, Taproot Wizards is going to be coming out. Trevor's Ninjas are going to be coming out. Other projects, the puppets, the Bitcoin puppets, having their kind of moment here. Easy. What's the most interesting project to you on the market right now on Ordinals?
Oh man, OMBs.
Okay.
Just because it's like that is like the culture play. I think Hashlings is really interesting too, which got airdropped yesterday. This one was one that you could have gotten into through actually a Solana NFT. Full Bitcoin mining rig, rewards paid in Bitcoin to holders, and proof of the mining rig is great. So like quote a utility play. I actually think this art is pretty damn high
looks
quality.
good.
Yeah, like they did a really good job with this. I am also interested in what Jack Butcher's doing for the single check ordinals, all sub 20K inscriptions. So that alone is going to hold value just on the
the Ordinals audience is going to want to sink their teeth into that big time.
That's like a fine art play. There's another project called Inked, which is 100 supply, one of one curated collection for allow list members that I've been keeping eyes on. The art scene is the one that's actually really starting to trend and get a lot of interest. There's a project called Rupture that's minting. It's just like a pure play collectible art style mint that's coming up. But I really like Hashlings a lot. I've talked to the founder over there. I don't hold any. The BoDoggo's Discord and the Nifty were insanely active and interested in it for sure. And a lot of them got in too, which was great. So I think that was awesome to see. They made a positive swing on it and the conviction paid off. But it's like that founder has just proved that they have a mining rig ready to go and reward their holders. One of the coolest things that they did was they were putting like holders' names on like these mining rigs too, which I thought was really cool. Just really making this like relatable thing, showing that he cared about the community. So all in all, big fan of it. I think that Hashlings is probably one of the more interesting one in my opinion right now. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a quick question for you because like when people talk about ordinals, they're like ordinals are like immutable. They're like on-chain art, right? Like when I think about like Ethereum on-chain art, like you buy an art blocks piece, right? Like that art box piece got minted as that art blocks piece, and there's nothing you can ever do to like change that. You can't overwrite that, right? So how can ordinals be on-chain art, but Jack Butcher can go buy sub 20K inscriptions and then like overwrite them with his art? Because that's what he's doing, right? He didn't mint and already print that, right? So that confuses me. Because then can't you buy any ordinal and just like overwrite it with like a new collection or something?
So you can overwrite an inscription. That's the thing. I don't think he did that though. I think he actually minted these.
Yeah, so he back in February 2022, he said that his friend pushed him to inscribe these, and they got sub 20K inscriptions back when they did it.
Okay, I mean that's cool and significant for sure.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say you end up just owning the set basically, and then you can do anything with that set that you want. Like essentially, it's just the legacy of that set. So theoretically, you could buy one of these and overwrite it and do whatever you want with it. Most people wouldn't want to do that. Instead, you're holding on to it.
But like I could buy Bunny's ordinal and just overwrite it.
You totally, as far as I understand it, do have the option of doing that. It's different than like an Ethereum contract. It's different functionality. You know, every blockchain has a different like technical implementation of what they call NFTs. It just so happens that this format of it is done. But yes, it's not theoretically permanent, but the fact that it was on there at any point should still have a record. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone's saying that I'm completely wrong as an audience member, but
that's the least surprising thing ever for, getting into deep ordinals technical, somebody being like, you got it all wrong. Real quick, the provenance factor on Bitcoin ordinals projects right now is so significant. It's so substantial that it's actually enough to carry an entire narrative, which for people that are creating ordinals projects right now, that's something that they really want to sink their teeth in, because it's like, I don't have to do anything. I just have to mint this, and the provenance alone will make it strong enough that the price will go up. I can mint some for myself and sell them into a pump, blah, blah, blah. I'm very interested to see where ordinals are in 2 years, for example, because at some point that provenance factor is going to, I don't want to say wash away, but there just won't be any more opportunity to solely mint based on the kind of foundation of provenance, and people will have to actually, create things that are substantial and long term. Can't wait to see that. It's going to be interesting. Kicks?
Yeah, I'm just, if that works out, man, I can't wait to sell one of my Bitcoin toads for like 9 Bitcoin.
That'd be insane. I mean, look, so the rare sat thing, I am struggling to deal with it because, look, at the end of the day, there's a finite amount of Bitcoin and thus a finite amount of Satoshis. And I know the amount of Satoshis per Bitcoin is obviously very large. However, when you think about a finite asset and you think about in 10 years, it's going to be a big deal. Forget about having 1 Bitcoin. In 10 years, it's going to be a big deal to have 0.1 Bitcoin. That's why you hear some people say, like, don't think about like Bitcoin being expensive. Think about how can I get 0.1 Bitcoin? How much does that cost? How much does 0.05 Bitcoin cost? How much does 0.01 Bitcoin cost, right? And when I think about that, I'm like, well, rare sats will actually be very, very valuable in the future. However, would I rather spend the Bitcoin on a single rare sat or just have the actual Bitcoin? That's the thing, that's the thing. And of course, I think there will be incredibly valuable Satoshis because of their provenance, because of their history, but it's hard for me to stomach the idea of deploying the hard asset, the hard Bitcoin asset, the hard money into a speculative move of a rare sat. I could see them working out, but it is orders of magnitude more speculative than holding the Bitcoin itself. That's the way I think about it. Nick, makes jokes about the rare Satoshis. I find them very entertaining. They bother Trevor. I mean, Trevor's bothered by them objectively. He's just like, fuck off. He's bothered by them. He brings it up on the Bitcoin show. But I see both sides. I literally do see both sides, Yeah. Anyway, so moving on. Last thing, little stock move right here about NVIDIA. I want to hear from both. I want to hear from Easy Kicks, and if Nick's still with us, I'd love to get his call. We had NVIDIA hit a new all-time high yesterday, $542. What are we looking at market cap on this bad boy? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about stocks on a regular basis on this show. So don't ask every single time why we're talking about stocks. Just expect it. What are we looking at?
Are you getting a bunch of messages asking why you're talking about stocks, Pio?
Every time we talk about stocks, an army of people say, why are we talking about boomer stocks every single time? So yes, $1.33 trillion market cap. Let's go to Nick, since Nick's clearly here with us. Nick, what do you think about NVIDIA here?
I'm looking at the financials. I don't know what the dude. This has been a tough one for me. I had brought up with on the show yesterday this book, The Turtle Trader or whatever, and basically like the main thesis there is buy into strength, sell into weakness. And NVIDIA has strength, so theoretically, like I guess from that standpoint, you're better off buying this than selling it. What's crazy is like what they're valued at. They have a market cap of $1.3 trillion. That said, I mean, dude, when we were looking at the numbers the other day, I was like, oh, wow, okay, so they fixed the supply chain bottleneck that they were dealing with, and revenue has just been up only since then. I mean, it's interesting. That said, I was comparing like their multiple versus like something like Microsoft, and which I understand is boomer as hell, but Microsoft looks more compelling just from like that multiple standpoint. That said, this is trading on a growth narrative. And so the question is, like, what's the growth trajectory here for NVIDIA? The assumption is like I feel like the trade has been the AI trade for them. So I don't know. I don't own any NVIDIA, much to my own chagrin. But it doesn't seem like an awful trade.
I like NVIDIA here.
What's that?
I like NVIDIA here.
Okay, easy.
Putting it on wax. Yeah.
Easy with
I
a
like
real
it.
barbell strategy. He likes his 10x's in crypto and his 10% in stock.
Easy, please run with it. Ignore this guy kicks that's
I
about to
think
get
he's spot
wrecked.
on though. I mean, dude, the NVIDIA thing is like, what happens if they announce a split? That's like the thing I'm even more interested in now. Like, it's getting to that price point where it's like looking like it could be getting too expensive for stuff. They just announced the 4080 Pro series for their graphics cards. They have this whole AI narrative, obviously. NVIDIA's entire like streaming platform and deck has like eye monitoring software that actually works well right now. So like when you're making content and other things, it makes a lot of sense. It works very well. They have this full cloud computing gaming thing that they just rolled out called GeForce Now that opens up just a lot of stuff. I want to try it to see how good it actually works. But this thing, like NVIDIA just keeps innovating and kind of being at the forefront for a lot of this stuff. And I wouldn't really want to fade that. Like personally, I wouldn't want to fade it. They have the entire consumer market when it comes to gaming, when it comes to graphics cards too. Like when you have a stranglehold on that, it's tough to beat.
Can you pull that up real quick and just hit the all? Yeah, just hit the all on that. I just want
Looking at the chart here for NVIDIA all
that's
time.
what we're wanting the long right there. So like, you know, when it was at the bottom in 2022, that's not when we wanted to buy, but now we want to buy this chart right here.
Yeah. So did you hear what Nick said? We buy strength. So we only buy all-time highs. It's only up 65,000% all time.
This looks like buying Bitcoin at like 57K in 2021.
Nick, go ahead.
I mean, you're going into a bull market. Well, we're
Going into a bull
actually.
market, it's up fucking 400%.
I was in the process of correcting myself. No, NVIDIA has been in a continuous bull market. What I'm saying though, dude, buy strength. That's it. What stock you got going on? You gonna give me Dick's Sporting Goods?
Hey, I mean that trade worked out well. It just, you know, not on the time frame I was looking for. Now, I mean, the last stock I bought was like a firm. It went up like 70% or something.
Oh, so you're just preying on the poor. Okay, that's cool. Good for you, man.
That's actually, so I was listening to a podcast about that, about how those lending, you know, the stocks that are like for short-term loans where basically if you pay it off, it's 0% interest. Like I'm pretty sure, let's say you buy a mattress and you finance it with a firm. It's like, I don't know, a 6-month loan or something, 3 to 6 month loan. And if you make all your payments, I think it's literally 0% interest. But if you miss a payment, you get wrecked.
It's
like
all the backed interest on it. You get
Yeah.
everything that was not on it for the entirety of it. So it's like, yeah, this is great. How electric, you save 0% and now you get hit with 45% interest.
Pretty wild. So real quick, last thing that we'll discuss on the show today. So MoonBirds, shifting back to the NFT market. Look at the activity on MoonBirds. Somebody has sold how many MoonBirds right now? How many?
200 plus.
200 plus MoonBirds continuing to get dumped by the same seller, one seller.
Dude, I timed this perfectly, huh?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Oh my God, the floor price is down. Literally, oh my, I'm down like 30% again.
Yeah,
How
but
many L's can I take?
Well, if I could ask you, what was your buying thesis?
Well, it wasn't a good one. Whatever it was. The thesis
Just
was
taking a swing. I like it. You know, you're like, hey, let me just take a rip.
Dude.
Literally, the losses Nick's taken this week are not even that high. It's not like a big deal at all.
It's like $1,000. But like MoonBirds are cool. It's a cool profile pic. I've always thought that. I still think it. It's cool art.
I mean, this is
this is just a farmer dumping, right? A blur farmer. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know if it's a blur farmer or someone that just held a bunch of them and wants to get rid of these assets. Damn, I'm looking like a dumb idiot right now is what I'm feeling like.
I'm proud of you. You're keeping your feet chopping, man. You know, you think Tyreek Hill catches every pass, Nick?
I mean, look, you have to think about this objectively. This is someone that owned 218 of one NFT project, and that one NFT project was worth significantly more in the past than now. I don't think that that person expects any significant rebound. I think when Nick bought it, Nick was like, hey, maybe this will catch a little bit of a vibe from the NFT space, and I'll make like a half ETH to an ETH gain on it.
I was not thinking in terms of half ETH. Okay. I'm not swinging for half ETH gains here, PO. I'm looking for life-changing gains. This was my expectation was this may be the next Bored Ape.
I don't know if that's the truth.
At least 2x.
Yeah, you were thinking maybe a little 2x. This guy's got 600K exposure to it, and he's been wrestling with the issues with MoonBirds for months at this point. He must have just been like, I got to cut my losses and get out. Think about if he deploys that 600K into Bitcoin or Solana right now. Like,
I like how we describe it. Well, they do have issues. Half of the issue is just the narrative being driven by all of the people who like got into this a lot of the people like crypto Twitter is the general narrative. I will say there was the situation we had obviously with who did we deal with here? Kevin Rose comes out and just making some like weird updates that wasn't properly processed through, the
Tim Ferriss podcast
team. Yeah, well, there was the Tim Ferriss podcast. There was him talking about getting off Twitter. There was there were a number of incidents that occurred. We'll say, and it just didn't help the overall narrative. I felt, hey, it's been beaten down. Let's take a swing.
What was that you said about the turtle?
Turtle trader.
Yeah, what it was the saying?
Buying
to strength, selling to weakness.
Selling to weakness. I did not go. I did not follow that.
You were more of the hare in the tortoise and the hare story.
I messed up, dude. Okay, and that actually is a good lesson. By the way, I was reading the book after I had already purchased the MoonBird. So if I were to learn from that lesson, unfortunately, I did not follow my own lesson associated with that. Instead,
I mean, dude, you're the sergeant of Solana. You're the AVAX admiral. You crushed it on that. Oh, you gave a little back, taking some swings on some small bets.
Avalanche game. Interesting that you mentioned that. It's had a serious pullback, actually, presenting some interesting buying opportunities here in my
AVAX.
Yeah, there's it pulled back severely.
It's wicked volatile. It's wicked volatile.
We've gone from 48 down to 34. That's interesting.
Easy.
What? Easy. You got to unmute yourself, dude.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on there. It wouldn't let me unmute. I apologize.
All good.
I bought more personally. I bought more AVAX. Like, that was a no-brainer to me. When I looked at it, I was like, under 40 feels good. Feels really good here. It's just like when Sol dipped under 90. Like, to me, honestly, send AVAX back to like 27 and I'll be ecstatic. I'll buy significantly more. Like, I still have stables that I want to deploy. The AVAX ecosystem is continuing to show signs of strength in general, and like great marketing, great product pushes with subnets. The narrative hasn't changed at all. And like the gaming thesis continues to show a lot of strength on AVAX. And for me, I don't know why, like my narrative hasn't changed. Only the price has gone down. So
I was talking to a guy that's a realtor that asked me about crypto, and I the things I told him about, I was like, look, I'm interested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, AVAX, and Solana, and he knew AVAX. He was like, yeah, I feel like that was around last cycle. He said he had no exposure to anything. He was like in and out. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm more like an accumulation guy, blah, blah, blah. My friend that he's a Bitcoin guy, he really thinks that my Solana is like he thinks I'm kind of crazy for having a bunch of Solana. He really does think I'm kind of crazy for having it. He said, and he said he only does like the big leagues of Bitcoin, which I do kind of get where he's coming from with that. But I brought up Avalanche, and he was like, Avalanche, like what the fuck is that? And I like showed him, and he goes, oh, AVAX, and I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, that one was around last time. People know AVAX. Which I didn't actually think.
Know about Solana, though, is the thing. Look at any major news outlet right now. Every time they show 3 cryptos on the screen, it's Bitcoin, ETH, Solana right now. That's it. And before it was Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, or Bitcoin, ETH, Bitcoin Cash. And that was like the 3 that last cycle were on television in front of people's face nonstop. And you have to understand that narrative shift is the big thing here. Where like now that Solana's getting solidified and kind of pushed into that realm, that's where I'm like, this is now going to make a lot of people understand that I think in general, Solana's not going anywhere.
Real quick, I mean, look, and I know Nick's going to be really excited to talk about this one. I think that this article says what everybody's been thinking. Everybody's been thinking this, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to tell the Twitter audience what the article says.
The article says Donald Trump may be crypto's unexpected savior. And so what does that look like? Does that look like crypto seems pretty good? I buy it. You buy it. What's wrong with that? Is that basically the position there? Anyway, look, I'm just half joking. Last thing I want to talk about, say less. Easy. What do we think? Beanie seems to think that Say is programmed to go to $10. Nick's position is that the same people that were trying to sell you bullshit last time are trying to sell you Say now, or something like that.
Sell me the bullshit. Sell me the bullshit. I want all to Say. I want all of it. Say what you want. But this to me is like a no-brainer. Like I think Say is going much higher. Even right here, dude, a 3x is 180, and that feels like a no-brainer. We saw 85 cents when the entire market nuked on speculation that the ETF would get delayed. Like that's the big thing. Cosmos ecosystem to me is going to be the narrative in the bull of this whole modular blockchain and the ability to drive stuff.
Help me understand why. Help me understand why does Say have a place in this world of crypto? Solana has a place in the world because of instant transactions, incredibly low fees, very fast, Ethereum competitor, great NFT ecosystem. DeFi is way more enjoyable on Solana. AVAX has its place in the world because some of the best games in the space are building on AVAX. It's a gaming ecosystem. Everybody thinks crypto gaming is going to be huge. Why Say?
Yeah, I think Say makes the most sense from an actual developer standpoint. Like it was my thesis with Near as well, being written in JavaScript. Say for me is one that they talk about modular blockchains and the ability to plug and play stuff. And it's a heavy focus on open source tech stacks, which is going to allow people to just kind of copy paste and drive quicker development life cycles. Developers lead to users because you can create and innovate and try new things much quicker. The ability to spin things up and actually leverage a blockchain that has multiple different components versus a singular instance that needs to execute, transact, validate, and process. Whereas now you have 4 different components that can handle it. It also helps with things like failover, which is something that Solana actually struggled with. Because if one piece of a modular blockchain goes down, that doesn't mean that the entirety of it goes down. I see Ebrink asking, what is a modular blockchain exactly? You look at EVM tech stacks. ETH itself has to do everything from processing transactions to validating transactions to executing transactions all in a single instance. With these Cosmos blockchains, there's separate instances that can handle different things. So you have, when you think of like an AWS server is the thing that I like to compare it to because people understand Amazon. There's multiple different parts that make up Amazon's entertainment tech stack. You got the Kindle, you got Amazon Video, you got Amazon Store. These are 3 different separate entities that make up one parent company. That's the thing that I look at here. And I see Sound Money says, are you reading from a script? No, this is just like when you do a ton of research on something and actually have conviction and a thesis on it, it comes out like it's second nature. Because to me, it's like, this to me is where I'm actually confident and have spent a lot of time looking into it. And I don't really talk about new blockchains unless I actually sit down and read documents. I've read a ton of their shit. Like I've read a ton
he
of
knows
their
about
stuff.
deep cut crypto stuff. A lot of the stuff, hey, one thing, and I'm not insulting you, Easy. A lot of the stuff that you know a ton about is not going to matter in 10 years.
100%.
But some of the shit is going to matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's why right now is a good time to get into Say under 70 cents because we've seen a new all-time high in a moment of weakness across the market, and that showed strength. And it has all the right narratives for something new, which is what the space wants. And I mean, this blockchain's 3 months old, 4 months old. Like it's so early.
And real quick, one thing, and I want to hear what Kix thinks about this, but my position with a lot of these assets is, am I betting that this thing is never going to make another all-time high? Which in some instances is not going to make another all-time high. But let's say you don't buy Bitcoin here, you don't buy Ethereum here, you don't buy Solana here. Are you suggesting it's not going to make a new all-time high? You don't buy Coinbase stock here. Are you saying it's never going to make a new all-time high? That's the way I think through this stuff. I'm like, do I really think that for all of eternity, the all-time high has been made? So that, but I don't know what Say. And Say wasn't around last cycle, was it?
No, it's literally 4 months old. It launched, I want to say, end of August, start of September. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's really young. And that to me is like, I've said the same thesis is like in new cycles, people tend to navigate and gravitate towards the new things, which is like, this is a new thing. The Cosmos ecosystem was around last cycle, but things like Celestia, Atom, Say are newer blockchains that if they keep doing and finding success, they're going to just absolutely send, much like we saw Solana go from $3 to $260 last cycle and ETH go from 80 to $2,000 the cycle before it. These new chains are the ones that like you can feel a little more comfortable not going out, and Injective. That's also another good call on Cosmos. That's where I'm like, you want to see stuff right now that's starting to show ecosystem growth, user interest, new products, a bolstering ecosystem of developers, which all of these Cosmos ecosystems are, and yet they're still new. So now for me, I'm like, okay, they're like purely in price discovery basically until the bear market, where they need to figure out what actually is, quote, fair value and where people are comfortable trading them. And that's why I look at these things, because Cosmos was around, but the only other thing with like these is like VC unlocks, which is like my concern.
Dude, the way Popcan thinks about this stuff, I love hearing the way Popcan thinks about this stuff. This mentality also doesn't work for Bitcoin. I'm gonna call you out on that, Popcan. When it comes to Bitcoin, it doesn't work. But when it comes to these speculative ass crypto assets, he's got the best mentality. He goes, "There's no bag holders yet with the Say blockchain, so it's just up only kicks." I know you like that. You like that right there.
I do like that, yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, yeah, the new coins are the ones that are going to be much more likely to pump hard and make big all-time highs in the next bull run. So yeah, I like Easy's thesis. Is this a Korean company, Easy?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
What are you
I'm bullish on the Koreans. You know,
Yeah,
they
I don't
did
think
Luna.
it is, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think it is. The founder of Say has like posted selfies, and I'm fairly certain he's white.
We'll end on that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, look, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Bring Nick back for that one. Nick, you like that little? Pretty sure the founder of Say is white. Thanks.
Has a Korean community, so there's that.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I
San
do,
Fran company. Okay, so phew. Whew.
dude, I do rock with
Korean.
oh no, dude, I do rock with Koreans. Like if someone is Korean, that's in charge of a product. I'm
the racism that was dropped here. Is that what's happening now? We're trying to backtrack to be like, no. I mean, like, let's just glaze over the casual racism that happened on the show. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you, Groovy T, for saying that this was a W show. We appreciate everybody watching on YouTube, everyone listening on Twitter, and everybody that catches up on the audio podcast after the fact, available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, even Google Podcasts. I saw that there were like a few hundred views on Google Podcasts. Shout out to the Google Podcast people. Let's go. Keep doing your thing, baby. Is there an app for that? I don't even know. Anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, each and every weekday. Make sure that you lick the like if you are listening or watching, I should say, on YouTube. And we will be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you next time. Shout out to everybody in the Say